Hey, what's going on, everybody? Xbox All In Channel host Sega Forever. We're back with another video, something we talked about in yesterday's podcast. I wanted to give Dea a chance to talk about some of the announcement that Microsoft has been doing. I did a video on. I'm sorry, excuse me. I
That's
did a
okay.
I, I did a video on Thursday talking about this, um, or was it Wednesday or Thursday? Either one of the days I did a video on my channel because I thought it was such a big announcement, and of course Microsoft owned an Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
how that's going to translate over.
Yep.
Just kind of briefly touched on it, but it is a game changer, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's nice to have Daya here. We didn't get a chance to really dive into it like we, because yesterday was an Xbox podcast, but today we're just going to focus on Microsoft quantum computing, and we're also going to be talking about the chip that Microsoft has created,
Right.
which is a game changer, right? So go ahead, Daya.
Oh, hello, two man. Thank you. You are always here.
Yeah, tell
Um,
me, welcome.
when I get less busy, we're gonna have to get some more game time in too, man. I haven't forgotten. I'm trying my best to get through all this busy stuff I have to do, but just wanted to let you know that I haven't forgotten. Um, so yeah, I looked up the Muse AI that the tool set that Xbox is working on, as well as the super chip. I think it's called, what was it called? It was called, um I would have to look that up in a second. I forget what it was called.
It's
I'm
like
so sorry.
Majorna or something
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
Majorana or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Majorna
yeah.
or something. I'm sorry, you guys. I'll look it up to get the specific name a little bit later.
I
But
got it. It's spelled Majorana 1.
okay, Majorana. Is
Yeah,
it like that, Majorana?
I think so. I think so.
Okay, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that's the name of it. And I gotta say, both prospects put a smile on my face. They're doing things that nobody else has done, and not to keep it just on gaming, but Muse impressed me because of the implications that what they was doing with Bleeding Edge. I was like, wow. And they was, that's interesting where they want to go with that. And I think this is just the beginning. It's not um the entirety of what they want to do.
Yeah,
It's just the beginning. And you got people that's upset at Microsoft for that. And look, it's
really,
gonna
really.
go in that direction no matter what happens. Yeah, they're upset at the AI. They don't understand AI, and they think that everybody's gonna lose their jobs if this happens, but there's nothing that's going to stop AI. It's similar to when computers was introduced. There was never going to be anything that stopped humans from adopting computers with their compute speed and what they could do. It was never going to be something that stopped humanity from moving forward with that. And the same thing is true for AI. I have my own fears of AI that has nothing to do with gaming.
You can
I
speak on it
think
if you want to, though. Dan. If you
yes,
want to,
that
you can talk about it.
there's dangerous aspects to AI. Okay. And now right now we're under um a arms war when it comes to AI. Microsoft has beat everyone to the punch, but they didn't name it in the video I was looking at, but there's a competitor that's out there that has done what Microsoft has done, but they're a little behind them. So they're right on their tail. Um this also means for those of us who live in America that this is good, that America doesn't have to feel too threatened because we're right in that race with the other countries, right? And this is important because just for dominance, but for our own safety and for our own protection.
Hmm.
Um, so in that sense, I'm very happy with what they're doing, but I'm a little nervous because what they've done, I don't fully understand quantum computing, but it's like beyond me. I've tried to understand when people have broken it down, but it's not simply some technology. It's something that they've utilized that has never been, that they did at one point they didn't even know existed. It's crazy what quantum computing can do. It's not like a normal chip, and it's so mind-boggling that I'm like, this can't be real, but apparently it is. And I still have, I still need to look further into it because I only did brief research on it. Um, but it's I'm excited for it, but I'm also scared because it's such an incredible technology. It's going to propel us forward very quickly, and I think in about 2 years we're going to start to see big changes.
Yeah, they
Um,
say by 2030,
yes,
everything's gonna change. Yeah.
everything's going to change. Look, the other nations, everyone is already engaging in it. So there's nothing that's going to stop this. So just getting back to people whining about Xbox, Microsoft is a software company. They're never going to stop inventing and innovating in that space. And Xbox at its heart is a software company because that's where Microsoft's expertise is. They do great hardware, but that's where they're most comfortable, right? And so I there's no doubt in my mind that Microsoft is going to implement these things into gaming. Somehow, some way they're going to do it. I think Muse is what they've been working on, and I think there's probably things they haven't shared with us with Muse in its entirety. They're not going to show all their cards, but I think that what I've seen, I'm pretty impressed with it. Um, but when you look at the quantum computing aspect of it, now I don't think that's going to come down to the um I don't know, the commercial aspect yet. I think it's going to be more so for right now. DARPA's involved with that. If you guys don't know what that is, that's a military agency that
Hmm.
does a lot of I'll put it this way, R&D and tech for military uses. You
Yeah.
can look more into that. Um, but they've already signed a contract with that supercomputer, quantum computer, with DARPA. So that tells you how big of a deal that is.
Yeah, I said
Um,
that yesterday on the podcast and in the previous video. Microsoft already has working contracts with the government right now.
they do, and yes, they do, and with the American government, they do, and then they also help other governments and stuff too with security issues and stuff with their governments and stuff. So, um, yeah, I mean, because that's everybody pretty much has a Windows computer, So, you know,
It's funny though. It's funny to see the reaction over the last 4 years. Not to get political, but I'm just saying with the
mm-hmm,
economy,
mm-hmm,
issues we've had in the country, relationships we've had with other foreign countries and stuff like that. And
right,
yeah, Microsoft is definitely leading the charge.
yep,
I see that definitely outside of the
absolutely,
Xbox. Yeah,
and they're leading the charge in that, and in my opinion, Xbox is leading the charge with how they're dragging gaming into a whole new space and
whether you want it or
redefining.
not.
That's true, and a lot of us was kicking and screaming, and they're like,
Yeah,
you kids are coming along with this. We're not
yeah.
leaving you behind, but you got to get used to this." And that, that's the company they are because you can see it in Microsoft.
I think that's why they're not focused. If I just to be honest,
Hmm.
they can do hardware. We've seen them do hardware. They have the most powerful
Very
console.
good hardware. Yeah, yeah,
If they want to, their
yeah,
Surface stuff. If they
yeah,
really want to, but where they
yeah.
thrive. And look, I'm not outside of the console. I'm just putting on another hat here.
Okay,
Where you see Microsoft thrive a lot isn't like you said in their software, right? Because it
software. Yeah,
gives them the ability to be creative.
yep.
And some of the stuff that I saw when they talked to some of the people that was working on the project at Microsoft, you could tell it's a culmination of their intelligence as well as their creativity.
Yes, yes, exactly.
And you need kind of both of those things to kind of occupy that space when it comes to quantum physics and quantum. Like the intelligence factor is there. What surprised me was their ability to think outside the box.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
and that's something that's very, getting back to your point about security, that's something that's very Western focused. It's something that the US does really well.
You're
That's,
absolutely right about that.
yeah.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Because if you look at other countries and especially their cultures, right? A lot of this stuff is counter culture
Mm-hmm.
to the way that they are.
Mm-hmm.
But in the U.S., it's and I'm not saying it's anything goes, but we have that freedom and that longitude and latitude to work outside the means. And this is
Right.
how you come up with stuff like that. I'm trying to
Right.
find the video now, but I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. And just to add to what you said, and I'm gonna bring it back to gaming because this is a good example of that. We get to see it in full display when we see how Japanese companies like to stay old school. They don't really like to innovate all that much. They feel once they're comfortable in the space, they want to stay there and keep it like that forever. Whereas Western thinking is not like that. We're pie in the sky. We're always thinking like, oh
Mhm.
man, what if we do this or what if we do that? Um um we talk about things that about our vision of what we would like things to be and how we see things being in the future, or what direction we would like to see things go. We we have a vision, and then we try to make that vision into reality.
Yeah.
Like that's what I see over here. And that's why Xbox fundamentally as a company is so different from Nintendo and PlayStation. They, like Xbox, if they were a Nintendo, let's pretend that Xbox was Nintendo.
Hmm.
They would have had they would not have let Steam come into the market and have a better handheld than them, right? If that was Microsoft, they would have had all kinds of innovation with their handheld. They would have had they probably would have expanded at that point. See, that's the thing, that Microsoft, they're not satisfied with just being one thing. If they just would have stayed an operating system company, if that was the case, they expanded into doing servers and gaming, and now they're doing things like this quantum chip development. And I mean, they innovate all the time. And they can't sit still with just one thing like that. But I noticed that with Japanese companies, they do something and they don't they innovate a little bit within that field, right? We know Nintendo has come up with little things to make gaming interesting, and PlayStation has done that over the years, but they don't really push the envelope. They don't think outside the box. They don't truly invent something, reinvent the wheel. They don't try anything new like that. And I realized that maybe that's a cultural thing,
Yeah.
and
They're
that's a good
I'll say
example of
this.
that.
I'll say this. They're very ultra focused. So
Okay.
whatever they create, though, it would be the utmost, or whatever, or so whatever they're making. So, example, I'm a collector of collectibles toys,
Okay.
and a lot of the stuff that they ultra focused on in the '60s and '70s, they were bringing stuff out that will go beyond the pale. But it's
Mhm.
just them constantly ultra focusing. You see that in the video games now, right? Where they'll be at one level, and then they'll just keep on working on it and working on it and working on it, and then
Perfecting that one thing, right?
yeah,
That's what you're saying. Okay.
yeah, yeah. But as far as what you're saying about, for me, I mean, look, this might sound kind of bad, and it's not meant to be bad. But I appreciate them the most. The things I appreciate about the culture the most is when they're like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Right? Because they are ultra focused on it, and they kind of go into themselves, and then they create these things that, as a person who enjoys a lot of especially the pop culture stuff that they create,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I love when they do that, right? Because I enjoy it so much.
Okay. Yeah, I do too. So I can't complain there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just want us to say hi to Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Welcome back.
What's up, brother? Welcome to the show.
And I don't think it's anything wrong with either one, but I realize that approach is what we're facing in gaming. Japanese want to stay doing what they're doing. Just, they think they're doing the right thing because I think Sony understands that PlayStation is not doing well where they're at. I think they fully understand it. I think they've tried to tell their fan base that in little inklings here and there, not really come out with it, but I think they have tried to let them know that a little bit here and there. And these people they don't want to accept the truth. And I think that when it hits, when PlayStation has no other choice but to, PlayStation is either going to abandon that small percentage of the fan base, or they're going to, or something's going to happen to PlayStation where there's not going to be any doubt in the minds of a fan that they have to take drastic measures in order to survive.
Right.
It's going to be one or the other. And hi, Vante. Welcome, Vante. Vante's
Hey,
here.
what's up, Vante?
So I think that I think Sony understands that they need to do some changes and stuff, but I think they're having a hard time because you're right, they have a fanatical fan base, and right now they're trying to milk what they have, like
Yeah, yeah,
like a cow, but and they can't rely on anybody else right now. But the moment they get successful with a different group, like maybe the casuals or something, they get if I put it this way, the PlayStation gamer better pray that they never get a popular gas game that everybody adopts, because the moment that they do, I think Sony is going to completely abandon. I think because they want the $300 million games and all that stuff, and that they can produce one game that can constantly fund their coffers like that, I think these people are done for.
Well,
They're not going to care about them, you know.
it's interesting what you said because sorry again. Um, so I saw the clip of I forgot that guy's name. Yoshida though. I saw the clip with him and the guy who
Okay.
does the PlayStation podcast.
Okay.
His name is skipping my. I can't think of his name right now. But I did see a clip of it, and I can see why people were losing their minds because exactly what you said. Yoshida was telling the dude that runs the podcast, Sacred Symbols, dude,
Uh,
was telling him,
what was his name? I can't remember his name right now.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about
Yeah.
though.
So he was a guest on the show, and they were talking, and Yoshida basically told him, number one, he mentioned PCs, and
Okay, he did. Okay.
that's the market they're going to need to penetrate in,
They are, yeah.
and then he brought up China, right? And what he was telling the dude was, like in China, there's all these people in China, and a lot of them are on PCs, so that's what they're going to ultra focus on, and then the type, like you said, the type of games that they're playing over there in China. And I guess that caught him off guard because a lot of the PlayStation guys are stuck on console numbers.
They are, yeah.
Again, I gave my little 2 cents about the thing. Is like for me, it's just like Microsoft just should destroy them and take their customers.
They're using them. Honestly, why not? Because they're penetrating the markets through PlayStation. Why not do it? And because right now there's places, and I've been told this by people who live in other countries. There are countries where they almost never see an Xbox.
Oh
Literally,
yeah,
they don't. So these are areas that right now Xbox is penetrating into thanks to PlayStation. So honestly, they're not going to. They're going to keep PlayStation alive so they can use them. They're not going to get the moment I think that PlayStation becomes like worthless to them, then that you might see that. But I think that for now, they need their markets, and they selling these consoles like crazy. So they're like, okay, we'll just use it. They don't care. They literally don't care if it'll keep the Xbox brand alive, if it keeps them viable, if they can get that money. Because as far as they're concerned, that anybody who's in Game Pass, they know that they're taking care of the people who's always been there for them. That's what Game Pass is for. They're taking care of their own. But they want to fleece everybody else so they can make the games they want. And all. I mean, Phil all but said that in so many words. Okay, this is why Game Pass is not offered to anybody else anymore. This is why he cut that spigot off. I noticed when he did that. He would never ever talk about Game Pass being offered anywhere else anymore.
I mean, I think.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. So yeah, but personally, I mean, I think, I mean, it's part for me. It's kind of beyond the brand now. My personal opinion. It is about the money.
It is. Yep. It is. It is. It is. It's not. When I say brand, I mean that I think he really believes he's saving Xbox for the future. Now how that looks, what that is, we're seeing and we're learning as we go. But that's what I really believe he believes he's doing. Hi David. Hi
Oh,
David
hey
Cohen.
David, what's up, bud? What's up, brother? Um, I'll read what David said.
Okay.
I've said it before. AI can be a bad thing because it can put humans out of business, which why I'm worried about the Muse tech. Even if it works in some games, there's no guarantee it works for all games. Yeah, David. Definitely. That's something that to look at. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I can't remember my boy's name, man, and I feel so bad. I can't remember his name, but we kind of got into it on the podcast about that. Not got into it, but we're definitely on the different ends of the spectrum. I mean, David, if I'm being honest, dude, I think it can be a very valuable tool. For not just in gaming. I mean, across all industries. I think we've been civilization and the technology that we currently occupy, the space and time that we are when it comes to technology. I think we've learned, and we'll be able to adjust now. Greedy corporations and misuse and
Right.
people using it for really bad means, right? I mean that's just a part of the human civilization.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only concern I really have, right? It's just like, what are people going to do with it?
Gonna do with the tech, right? Exactly.
Because it has the possibility to do a lot of good. And I think we've come so far, like Dale was saying earlier. There's moments in time where something was invented, like something as simple as the wheel, right? Or something something as revolutionary as a plow,
Mm-hmm.
and then how people took something like the plow and built up off of that, right? First,
Right.
it was done by humans
Right.
were doing it, and then they found a better way to make the plow, and
Right.
then they realized how you could hook it up to an animal, and that could multiply your production.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it all boils down to, and it's as simple as a washing machine, brother. My grandmother raised me, and my grandmother then they didn't have washing machines. She told me they would be out by the water and beating their stuff on a rock. You know,
Right.
that's how they would
Right.
wash their clothes. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that, there's only certain type of clothes you would have, right? You wouldn't have fine linen and stuff like that. Number one, you couldn't afford it,
And
right?
it wouldn't last long with that type of treatment.
Yeah, so you wore
Yeah.
some things. My grandmother did, which is burlap. Uh,
Right.
and
Yeah.
burlap, number one, because what burlap was is a lot of stuff was shipped in burlap because it was so strong and sturdy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
then it was so hard to dispose of was the way the fibers were that people would just take it and make use of it. And one of the things that they used in my grandmother's period was they made it into clothes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a far cry from where our society is now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, but I share your concerns, man. I think it's something that we got to look at. I just don't want people to hyper focus on that, and I
I
see that.
agree with that. Yeah.
You know, look, dude, I love Terminator as much as the next dude. You know what I'm saying? But if we can make something like Skynet, that would be so impressive. But I don't look, dude. The human mind and the human condition is so unique. It's so unique. I mean, this is why a lot of people believe in intelligent design. This stuff just didn't happen by chance, right? Sorry. Oh, anyway, sorry, Dale. Did you want to comment at
Yes,
all?
yes, I would
Yes.
like to comment. I actually share his concerns. I did say that, but there's no way, David, that with the invention that Microsoft just announced a few days ago, that they're just going to pretend that it doesn't happen. It's done. And I think that and we're talking about that supercomputer chip and what it's capable of, how that's going to be implemented in a lot of things. And AI has already been invented and used, and it will continue to be used, and it's going to become part of our everyday lives, just like the computer. Um, I remember it was times when people thought, well, they were right. Computers replaced a lot of jobs, but then there were other jobs that were created because of the computer, right?
Yeah,
New
yeah.
jobs will be invented while some jobs will fall off. That has always been the way whenever man advanced in anything that they did, right? And so, what I would do if I was a developer, I would look at the areas where I think the new jobs will come from, and I would start educating myself in that so I can slip into those roles. That's what I would do. If you thought the not all of the developers are going to be replaced and all that stuff, that was made clear in some of the videos that I was looking at, because you can't replace them all, right? But there's going to be some positions I can see where, maybe a computer is better suited for it than a person, right? You can get more done efficiently, and you don't have to pay as much, and that brings costs down, right? Because right now, I'm gonna tell you now, any company that's developing games, they want to find ways to bring down costs. That's not going to stop any company. I don't care if it's Sony, I don't care if it's Microsoft or Nintendo. They're going to take options to bring these costs down, because right now gaming keeps rising and it can't keep going in that way. It's unsustainable right now.
Well,
So
that's
they're
how.
going.
I mean,
I'm
that's how
sorry.
they did. That's how
Mhm,
they did. They did it right. I mean, I hate to. I'm not trying to be cold, guys, but that's what layoffs are.
mhm.
It's a correction,
Right.
right?
Because it just, the costs keep going up
Yeah,
every year, because inflation and other stuff, because you got to pay these people a
right.
living wage in order for them to be able to work, and that's fair, of course. But you know they have to find ways to bring down costs, and if that's a way, I don't know if it is, but if it is, they will take that as an option to help bring down costs. you know I don't think that all jobs can be replaced, because um games are an art form, and you're not going to get that well from a machine no matter what you do. So I don't think all the jobs are going to be replaced. I just think that some jobs may fall away, But I also believe other jobs will open up. And like I said, it's always a trade-off. There's never a scenario where all the jobs are gone, but there's no jobs that get created. That doesn't happen. Okay. So that's what I would do. I would reevaluate if I was a developer, what my skills are. I would try to diversify my skills so that if you have to slip into another role, you can. And I would also be looking at what potential jobs might be coming around the corner. If I work for Microsoft, I might talk to some other people in Microsoft, ask them some things like that so I can prepare, especially if I was a first party. So, like, if I was a first party developer, I would be doing that. I would be utilizing the fact that, hey, I work for Microsoft. Maybe you can make some friends and talk to some people in some of the other departments. So that would be what I would do. Okay. So hopefully, you know, it won't be too many jobs lost, but we got to see. We don't know. We really don't know at the end of the day. But I do know that Microsoft is saying that they want Muse to be a tool set that they utilize to make developing games faster. Because right now they take too long. So right now, according to them, Muse is being developed in such a way so that it can cut down on game development time.
Yeah, and again, guys, this is relatively new. A lot of the stuff that they're talking about, of course, they've been thinking about it, and other
Right.
industries have been thinking about it. But just keep this in mind:
Right.
um, the power that is needed to
Oh
run
gosh, yeah, that's a
all of
lot.
this type of stuff that they want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, our grid can't take it. So
No, we
that's
can't.
something. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
something that they're focusing on now, which is ironic given everything that's been happening politically. This is
Hmm.
where some people shifted political alliances. Just being
Right.
honest with you guys, is because they need more energy.
They do. Yeah.
They do.
And then Trump said he was, he's been pro energy, so he wants more of it developed here, right? So
Yeah, he
um
wants everything.
he wants out, yeah. So that should help companies like Microsoft moving forward and others. They're not the only ones, but definitely should help them moving forward when it comes to all of this.
Energy is such a big thing. Energy costs is one of the
It's
reasons why you're paying a lot more for things. If we're just going to be honest. So
right, right.
I'm not a total green guy. I think it has a purpose.
I do
Um,
too.
where,
Yeah.
yeah, but where all these companies are shifting towards because they know the truth, and a lot of these guys, let's be honest, Microsoft, one of them, they were pushing green energy for the longest time.
They were, and then now they are ready to open up a nuclear plant.
Yeah,
Like what happened there? You know.
because they know, dude. When, and that's another thing. To excellent segue. Yeah. To
Mhm.
Dea's point, right, is when the rubber meets the road, guys. When the rubber meets the road, it won't matter at that point in time. You have to move. You have to
Yeah.
flex. You got to be
Yeah.
fluid, right? I'm already having discussions with my daughter. She's a creative type, and other people in the community, especially a lot of artists and stuff like that. And then when you have companies like Disney, that's what I talked about earlier. Disney has a
Yeah.
lot of has a backlog, has a treasure chest of content that they officially own, even though they didn't themselves create it. I'm pretty sure a company like Marvel has the same
Right.
thing. So
Right.
they have the ability to create things off of the properties they own, right? And so that could be a big issue. That's something that if you're a creative type that you have to look at, right?
Hmm.
That they could actually have the right to take people's voices, to take people's content that they create.
Right. Yeah. When you sign up with them, your likeness and your voice will now be probably part of the
Yeah.
negotiations. That's why you're seeing more deep fakes of people. Like I don't know if you
Yes.
guys saw the recent Alien movie. It was Romulus, but they used Sir Ian, I think his name is. I can't remember his name, but he played the part of Ash in the original movie. They used his likeness since he's
Oh,
passed away,
yeah,
but
yeah,
the family gave permission for that, and
right.
so he actually plays a big role in the movie. And
Yeah,
I was like, whoa, did he die? I was like baffled, but yeah, they used him. He was a full on character in the movie.
yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, that'll be the next level. And to what Dale was saying about jobs, definitely look into security because this thing has the potential to make everything non-existent. So
yes,
they're gonna have
yes.
to they're gonna have to flip and turn in a hurry.
Encryption, all that stuff is going to become useless. You're going to have to reinvent the wheel there.
Yeah,
All of that stuff.
yeah, those are the kind of things that we can look at.
Yep.
National security stuff like
Yep.
that. I know government jobs are kind of in the crosshairs right now, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
Um,
because the government's too bloated, and we have so much debt. If we don't do something now, we will collapse. So it's a desperation move. We really have to get it's too many. The government is too big, So
It's definitely, I can speak to this. It's definitely top heavy. It's
mhm,
definitely top heavy, and then that's the problem, right? And so,
right.
and it's one or two things, guys. Either we correct it, or it's going to correct itself, because it can't go on forever.
It can't go on. We're spending way too much money. We can't. It's as simple as that. It's like your household. If you're
Right.
spending too much money, something has to give.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. I just dropped $157 on groceries. I have no idea what I bought.
That's a woof. Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. I know. I know. We feel that pain too. So I know.
So let me read some of the comments, then we'll get to the video.
Okay. Okay.
Tolman says, Shuhei said that China was in a big console market right now, but they are a huge PC. Yeah, it was
They
something
are
like that.
huge PC. I
And I
run
think
into
it was,
Chinese people all the time.
yeah, so then Colin Moriarty, thank you, Mr. Kima. So kind of the look on his face, right, Mr. Kima, from what I saw from the clip, it's just like somebody took the air out of his balloon, his birthday balloon. Sega Forever, did you see the set? You a video, then I tagged on Twitter. I'm sorry. What was that, Mr. Kima? Did you see the set? You a video that I tagged on Twitter. Oh, are you talking about the one with Satya, the interview? Yeah, let me know. Pepe says, South Park, they took our jobs.
Hi, Pepe. Hi, Mr. Kima. And we have Hebot here too.
Hey, what's up, brother? Just real quick, guys. We'll continue with the chat, but we're gonna switch to this because I know Dia has to go.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of time. Yeah.
Present. Share screen.
We'll go through all the comments and then do the video.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second, guys.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you can go ahead and read the comments.
Oh, okay. Okay. David says, also, if I were a developer, not saying I want to be, but if I was, I would say, listen, if you are going to use AI in some games, at least make it work well and make sure it's optimized for games. I agree with that, David. And actually, Microsoft said they're not forcing any of their companies to use it. They just want it to be a tool set, an option for them to use it. But they are designing it in such a way that it will cut down on development time. So that's what they said. Mr. Kima also says computers created a lot of ad T job computers created a lot of IT jobs. Okay, IT jobs. Okay. Yeah, computers created a lot of IT jobs. He's absolutely right. That industry blew up, but there was some other things that didn't get past that point. But that's the thing, it's always a trade-off. New jobs get created, other jobs that are now obsolete fall away. It's the way of things. There's nothing we can do to change that.
And I've been in IT long enough to see the transformation of IT as well, right?
Exactly.
So the way IT is working, right, is that when I first started working in IT, so a lot of the people there, they're kind of like they're kind of like gods in a way, right? Because so many people relied on them because a lot of people weren't tech savvy.
Right.
But as generation and time moved on, and then more importantly, like when the software got better, right, it made it easier for the average person, and that's what happens, right? A lot of times with technology, it becomes a lot more easier for people to use, where you don't need the people that were once needed,
that were
right?
once
Because
needed, right?
Yeah, because
right.
the software got better, the computers are faster, the computers are doing the job that the IT people could do.
That the IT people used to do, right?
So it's a constant. It's like and I'm not saying that's good or bad, guys. I'm just saying that just from my perspective of what I've seen happen over the last 20 years,
right?
Where people that were once getting paid a certain amount, and then that a lot of those jobs went contracted. You know what I'm saying? And then the permanent jobs went to people that were more on the security side, the people that were actually creating software or that was actually working on the databases and the servers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it transforms like that. That's why you see a lot of people was trying to get they'd have they have a degree, computer science degree, but then they got to get IT specified or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's still happening to this day, guys. And then you throw AI in there.
Yeah, AI is going to be another thing they have to educate themselves on. So you're going to have to constantly be learning and adapting into this new market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and another thing to keep in mind is that a lot of people have born out of or grown out of that market and created their own markets.
Right? Okay.
This is where you saw a lot of the tech industry, especially when when tech was booming. You know, something as simple as eBay. We think it's commonplace back then, but I was around when there was no such thing as eBay. You know what I mean? I don't
Oh,
know how
right,
old eBay is. But,
right, yeah.
there was no such thing as eBay, and then when eBay hit, it hit so hard.
It did. Yeah, I use eBay. Yeah.
Yeah, it changed everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Same thing with digital music.
yeah.
That changed a lot of stuff. So what I was speaking on earlier, Mr. Kim, is I think it's good if people learn from that. And then we've gone through this enough cycles. We've gone through enough cycles for that we can try and get ahead of this.
Right.
That's what I'm talking to my daughter with right now. To say let's try and get ahead of this. All the other negative factors outside of that, right? Because there are definitely going to be some, because it's human nature, right? For people to try and take advantage, or people, just people being greedy. And but we've gone through this a couple times, so I think we'll be good. Or, I want to choose to be positive. I'll put it to you.
We need your positivity. And Hebot says, "What up, people? Hi, Hebot."
The digital scan was top level. Oh yeah, yeah. Just like better that like when they did Star Wars, during the movie, it was okay. People was like it kind of stood out, but then when they did Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian, that was nice. When they did the deep scan. Sorry, brother. We're probably gonna go half an hour and then end the podcast because Diaz gotta go. Um, Toolman says, "What's up?" Mr. Kima says, "Yes." Hebot says China is big on PCs because all they had for the past 15 years is PC consoles. Yeah, and then again, guys, you gotta remember China was locked down, and they're
They
still
were.
communists.
Yeah, yeah,
That's their biggest problem in China right now.
yeah. But I when I'm playing the games, random games, I see Chinese people hopping in there all the time because I can't read their names, and I'm like, oh, but they
Well,
play very well,
that's why it was so fascinating, the whole TikTok thing. Um,
Oh yeah,
it
yeah,
opened up a whole nother market.
yeah.
Just really quickly though, we'll play the video there so that we can everybody can take a look at it.
Okay. We missed David's statement here. Let's read his real
Oh yeah,
quick.
yeah, yeah.
He says, "Speaking of next level, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is coming, or at least there are hints." Oh, Tony Hawk! Oh my gosh, I remember that. Oh, hints towards it, and in fact, it's gotta be true. It can't be fake. I believe it's real. Oh man, Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Gosh, that takes me back. Oh man, I used to have some fun on that game.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why Microsoft's happy to own those properties.
Yeah.
Skateboarding never goes away, dude.
No,
Skateboarding
it
there's a
doesn't.
whole new generation coming up
Yep.
that'll play this game. So,
Yep.
all right, we'll get this rolling real quick.
Oh, Sega Man's in the comment
Yes,
area. I Sega Man, I didn't see your name there.
so they
Yeah.
created
A new state of matter.
If you open your primary school science textbook, we'd know three fundamental primary states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. But now that changes. Microsoft has introduced Majorana 1, the world's first quantum chip powered by a new topological core architecture that it expects will realize quantum computers capable of solving meaningful industrial scale problems in years and not decades. Microsoft says that it has created a new state of matter, one that could redefine computing as we know it.
We see the states of matter every day. Solids keep their shape, liquids vary but keep their volume, gases expand to fill the space they're in, all defined ultimately by how their atoms behave. But what if there were more? What if, under the right conditions, you could engineer more? States that have only ever been theorized, that would change how subatomic particles actually behave? Last year, we were able to observe it for the first time. And this year, we're able to control it and use its unique properties to build a topoconductor, a new type of semiconductor that operates also as a superconductor. With this material, we can build a whole new foundational architecture for our quantum computers, a topological core, allowing us to scale to not tens or hundreds of qubits on a chip, but millions, all in the palm of your hand.
Majorana's theory showed that mathematically it's possible to have a particle that is its own antiparticle. That means you can take two of these particles and you bring them together, and they could annihilate and there's nothing left. Or you could take two particles and you bring them together and you just have two particles. Sometimes it's nothing, the zero state, and sometimes it's the electron, the one state.
Traditional computers process information in binary, ones and zeros. But Microsoft's quantum computers use qubits, which can be both at the same time, making them exponentially more powerful. Companies like Google and IBM have spent years developing quantum computers using superconductors. But Microsoft is taking a different path. They have created something called topological qubits, a breakthrough that could finally make large-scale quantum computing possible. By combining semiconductors with superconductors, Microsoft has built qubits that are faster, more reliable, and significantly smaller, just 1 by 100th of a millimeter.
At the core of a quantum computer are these qubits. Qubits are like our classical bits, right? These are essentially zeros and ones in a transistor. And we need the analog of that in quantum computing. The analog is a qubit, a quantum bit that serves as that core information unit. It's where we store the information and then we process on those qubits to create computation and ultimately, get solutions back out.
This innovation could pave the way for a million-qubit processor, a chip that fits in your hand but can solve problems no supercomputer on Earth ever could. The impact? Medicine, AI, climate modeling, and even cryptography could advance at unprecedented speeds.
It really has taken quite some thinking, right? Some time to design a device, design a chip that can enable measurement of this literally elusive particle. We've designed a chip that is able to measure the presence of Majorana. Majorana allows us to create a topological qubit. A topological qubit is reliable, small, and controllable. This solves the noise problem that creates errors in qubits. Now that we have these topological qubits, we're able to build an entirely new quantum architecture, the topological core, which can scale to 1 million topological qubits on a tiny chip.
Every single atom in this chip is placed purposefully. It is constructed from ground up. It is entirely a new state of matter. Think of us as building the picture by painting it atom by atom. In a regular chip, the computation is done using electrons. We don't use electrons for compute. We use Majoranas for computing. It's an entirely new particle. It's half electron.
When we look at the design of this chip, right, first of all, you can fit so much on just a small form factor, right? This chip can store over 1 million qubits, right? Over 1 million can fit on just this small form factor. In addition, we don't want to wait centuries or millennia for a solution. And so this chip also offers the right speed to get solutions from the chip in a reasonable, efficient, amount of time. That's the beauty in this qubit design, the topological qubit. It has the right size, the right speed, and the right type of controllability. And all of that together means that it has an ability to scale like no other.
Microsoft Chairman and CEO Satya Nadella called this a fundamental leap in computing, one that could bring true quantum computing not in decades, but in years. The race for quantum supremacy is on. And with this breakthrough, Microsoft just might be leading the charge. For more news and updates, keep watching Live Mint.
Yeah, so that's just basically it in a nutshell. That's probably one of the best videos that I've seen.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people, when this is coming out, they have to explain it. and trying to wrap your mind around it. And you can tell because of the chip actually being made by Microsoft. That's another component that's throwing everything. That's throwing
Right, right.
so
I've heard other explanations, and it was making me more confused. So that was actually a good video.
yeah,
Yeah,
I had to hunt for this one. Because and look, guys, if you guys really want to know, I highly suggest that you do the deep dive because it is fascinating.
right.
I mean,
And plus, if it's going to be the future of Microsoft, it's going to change how Microsoft operates, and it may even transform Microsoft literally with this technology.
this is the kind of thing that you look at when you have the kind of dystopian type movies, but when
Yeah,
they show, especially in science fiction, where you have these corporations that become so massive,
right.
right? And this is a game changer. Just think about the wheel.
Yeah,
Think about vaccines, polio, especially.
yeah, yeah,
There's just moments in time in human history. Penicillin, right?
yeah.
You're at,
Penicillin was huge. Yeah,
yeah, you're at the cusp of that right now. And then look, with everything being said, all of this stuff is new, and nothing's set in stone right now. But I do think it's funny that they're showing the chip. And let me see. I think I have that video. I gotta try and find
and
it.
DARPA's already snatched that up. They got that under contract.
Oh yeah,
They didn't wait. I mean, that must have already been signed before they announced that or something. Because I'm like, wow, that was fast.
here I'll share one more, and it's just a real quick one. Uh,
Introducing a breakthrough in quantum computing, the Majorana 1. A new approach that ignores the limitations of current models to combine the power of millions of potential qubits all working together to solve.
sorry, that's not the one. That's what we just watched.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
wondering, like, that one kind of seemed like the intro to the last video.
Yeah, because I wanted to get the official. Okay, never mind that. Sorry.
But
Basically-
I hope you do another podcast. So we can expand. Maybe have Hebot and Sega Man in at that time. I know this is a short one, but I'm glad to be able to get in on this one, and I'll definitely try to get on another one. But I think this is fascinating. But what this means for our society is going to be huge because it must be because the way the world is reacting to this, but also what that's going to mean for Microsoft as a company, and that also trickles down to our hobby, to gaming. What is this stuff going to mean for gaming? I don't even know. I can't even tell you what this is going to mean.
I mean, when I seen it and I sit there and I try and apply it to what it could mean for Xbox, of course, everything considered, right? This is on the higher end. This stuff needs to trickle down, and that's going to take some time.
Right.
But
they use Xbox as their testing bed, right?
No, that's why. That's one of the things. It's one of the things that doesn't. That's one of the positives that don't make me. It's just like how I never have to worry about Xbox stepping out of line because we have a media that hates them, a gaming media that absolutely hate them, and a fan base in the ponies that absolutely watches everything they do. So as a person, as a consumer on the Xbox side, I don't really have to worry because all of these people, whatever Xbox does, they're gonna hate on it. So I don't have to. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Even if I have a problem, like I'll speak up on stuff I don't like. But for the most part, you have something in place that keeps Xbox in line. Though I don't agree, it's off of hate, but look, that helps us on the consumer side.
Right.
So it is what it is. But as far as this stuff coming down, I mean, I talked about it yesterday. I could see them like the AI thing. I think it's great because there's people that you just if you can make the game. Redfall is a perfect example. Like if I could just play AI characters and not have to worry about meeting with somebody at a certain time where I live or the time differences.
Right.
I mean,
They need to do that with Redfall. I love it.
Well, they should have took it online, and they're not, right? And I think that would help the game. But if they're not going to do that, and if they want to use something to test, I definitely would think Redfall would be great.
Redfall would be fantastic. I'd do it. Hey, I'd sign up for it. I'd be like, let me try it. Yeah.
Or a game like that got canceled from the Fable series, Fable Legends.
They still have that?
No, so that got canceled a long time ago. And the premise of Fable Legends was it was 4 people playing the game, and then you had one person that was like the dungeon master that was running.
Oh,
Like that's the guy you're going against, but it wasn't AI. It was an actual person.
I used to play board games like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That
So in
that used to
concept,
be
it was really
fun.
cool. But then the
Yeah.
problem with that is only as good as the person you're playing with, right? Anybody who's played D&D understands that
That's
your
true.
game is
That's
only as good as
true.
the dungeon master.
Yeah,
And so with that could be a way for the AI to kind of step in,
that's
right?
true.
And do that.
And it's
But some of
thinking.
these, oh yeah, but some of these games, right there. I mean, we're talking about games that are trying to find a space. Sorry, but they're trying to find a space because there's so many games being put out there. They're utilizing some of the tools that could come from this that could actually help the developers, right? The people without the big, um, without the 100 piece orchestra, you know,
Right,
the people
right.
that don't have that type of money, you know, yeah, and that's one thing you see that Phil Spencer always talks about. In fact, he talked about it in the interview. I saw a clip of it where he talked about, his focus is giving voice to the people that don't have a space for gaming,
Right, right. Yeah.
and this can help them. And to call and David, to your point, I don't know how good Muse is going to be, right?
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
don't know. Yeah.
we're having people complaining about Unreal Engine 5, how everything looks so samey, right? So that's something you got to keep into consideration. But to Dia's point earlier, this is why I think you're always going to need artists. You're going to always need creatives.
Exactly.
They're going to be the people that come in and do the touch up on everything,
Yep, yep.
or they can drive the creativity behind stuff. So, sorry, Dia, got on my little tirade.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me.
You're breaking up good points. Yeah. And hopefully, there's some things to be cautious of with it in the future, but I also see some possibilities. I don't know how to feel about everything. So much has hit at one time. Muse, and then also what they call it, Maharana or something like that. That's how
Yeah,
it's
much wrong.
pronounced.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a lot to take in, and I know that it's a lot. I think we have to think more on that. I would love to have more discussions on this because it's huge in tech, and it's absolutely going to affect things with gaming. We see the beginning of what Muse is starting, and I think if you do the next one, let's talk a little bit about Muse too, because that ties into gaming and into the subject of
Yeah.
Xbox.
I'll do the. I mean, I know I've watched some videos on it. I haven't done the deep dive. I got kind of sidetracked by Avowed, and then with all this quantum physics.
then all that, yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, guys, I do recommend that you do a little bit of like a toe dip into a little bit of quantum computing, but definitely toe dip on quantum physics to kind of
Quantum
understand,
physics, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
just to get a broader idea of all this kind of stuff and everything that's going on. Because it is interesting at the end of the day. Well, at least for me.
It is. It's fascinating. I mean, at first I thought it was just theory, but now what Microsoft has done, they've transformed a theory into reality. That's
I mean,
crazy.
I'll put on my console warrior gear now and talk about that. So anytime you have people telling you, right, what Xbox or Microsoft can't afford, or
Oh, right. Yeah.
Microsoft can't invest in when it comes to Xbox, this project that they worked on, not and it's in theory. A perfect example, which is exactly what they said. All of this stuff was in theory. They had an idea, they had a theory, and for 19 years they worked into that theory
Yep.
into reality. And that's the
Yep.
chip that you're looking at right now.
Yep.
Never say never, right?
They were the first, and so far the only one to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's such a big deal.
And sometimes with Microsoft, keep this in mind. It can be hit or miss with them. I think they're batting above 500 with most of the stuff they do.
Right.
But when you are a creative type and you're also trying to push the boundaries, a lot of us are Sega guys. We know this.
Yep.
Right? Some things gonna work, some things are not. Right.
Right.
And we don't know the direction that they're taking this into. But this is something that can't be ignored. Right. And they definitely, that's a business aspect of it. They want to be the ones leading the charge.
Hmm.
I wish they would do that in their console market.
Yeah, well, Phil, now this is where I agree with you on 100%. Is that the way Phil is directing it? Like Phil, he has a good place. He loves the game industry and all that, but it's certain decisions that he's making that's making Microsoft that way. Because I'm not sure that the greater Microsoft is behaving that way. They're taking risks. They're pushing things forward. I think they're not really afraid. When they really want something, they go for it. I don't know. Sometimes it seems like Phil gets a little bit like he just, I don't know, want to kumbaya his way out of.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think some of it is Phil. Okay, some of it is Phil, and when we get a new leader, because at some point Phil's going to retire. Okay, um, that's when we're going to really see how Xbox is going to, I guess that's when we'll see Xbox under a new light, because we've had Phil for so long now. It's hard for us to see the direction of Xbox any other way. I mean, except for those of us who know who was running Xbox before that, right? Um,
I mean,
but younger people,
yeah.
they don't know anything other than Phil Spencer.
I mean, I look at Phil and I'm like, I understand what he's doing. I applaud him for a lot of the stuff that he's doing. But you can't save everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can change. If you haven't been paying attention to what's going on in the news, there's a lot of change happening. I'm being directly affected by that change right now. Right. What I'm saying is that, at the end of the day, dude, sometimes you have to let things go. And look, man, I understand that I'm an old school gamer as well, man, but dude, sometimes you just gotta let it go. You know what I'm saying? There's reasons why things rise and fall, that things make it.
He's old, and there's no way he's gonna change his way. It's like trying to tell your grandfather to change a habit, and you're never gonna do it. I think he's stuck in his way, and we're not gonna see a different direction until he retires.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then there's a part of me that kind of understands it, right? Because at the end of the day, right, you don't want to see gaming become something that it's not.
Right.
So I agree with that, but at the same time, you can't also, it's just like a parent with a child. You know what I mean? You protect them as much as you can, and then at a certain point of time, you realize that you can't protect them anymore. They have to go out and do for themselves. And so that's what I kind of feel like when I see what we're doing in the gaming industry, that we're protecting too much, man. We're those helicopter parents, where they want to protect this stuff, and I'm like, no, dude, this is an industry of change. It's an industry of being progressive, because we're in tech. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I 100% agree with you, because I think personally, this is my opinion. I could be wrong. Phil could be watching this right now and say, "Oh, D4568 doesn't know me." That's not right. But I'm gonna say that Phil has a hard time understanding that the industry has to go through these changes. Some companies don't last because they didn't do what it took to last and weather through the changes of an industry. That has happened. We've seen many companies come and go, and I just think you can't force an industry to try to keep certain companies in place just for the sake of keeping them in place. That's why it's heartbreaking as it is. Some of these studios are disappearing because they didn't maybe make the right choices. Maybe they did exclusivity deals that killed them, right? Or maybe they didn't. Maybe the type of games they took on was too much for them, and maybe they should have did other moves and stuff, But as hard as that is, it's no different than any other industry. And I think that, look, people act like PlayStation is irreplaceable, right? People be acting like that, but it's not. If PlayStation fell off, somebody would take its place. That's just how it is. I mean, because they see the money and potential in the industry, somebody with the means to do it will come in and take their place. It's just that way. And so, my problem with them overcompensating, trying to protect the industry as it is, who's to say that it's supposed to stay that way?
Yeah. It shouldn't actually.
Right. And I think if they can't, look, no matter how much mother henning that Xbox want to do when it comes to all these other companies, they can't. They're not going to save them from their mistakes and their bad decisions and things. And at some point, they're going to have to say, we gotta let this one go. We gotta let that little chick go and fend for itself. They're gonna have to say that for some. You're not gonna save every company, every game. They can try. I don't have a problem with them trying to give a helping hand to other companies. We wouldn't have some of the studios we have without them doing that. Let's be real.
And they do. Anytime like everything that happened with the guys that did I can't remember the name of the developer, but the one that they did let go. Right. When I look at that, dude, I know that they did everything in their power to prevent that from happening.
Right.
But like you said, you can't prevent people from leaving.
No,
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, the dude picked up other people and he went and created another studio.
he did. Yeah, yeah.
So that's you guys taking the getting the egg on the face. Now again, you guys had $3 trillion, and you guys you just created a quantum chip. So I'm not gonna cry too much for you guys. You know what I'm saying? But that's what happens, right? And if they
Yeah.
and that's why I always say, they love to fall on their sword all the time. And I'm like, no, dude, don't fall on the sword. You have to use it sometimes.
Right.
And
And
that's just-
I think they knew from the beginning Tango didn't need to be saved.
yeah.
You know, I
That was-
mean, it could have, but they never really thought what are the problems and all that. And I think the problem was, hey, the Shinji Mikami, that's the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I think he no longer cared about the studio. I don't think he cared about it.
Yeah. Once they got bought.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
He
that
was done. He was talking about retirement the moment they got bought.
Yeah.
So I don't
So,
think he cared about the studio at all. He just had to pretend, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Until he
So
left.
if you create a new game there, Shinji, maybe I'll play it if it's in Game Pass. How about that? So maybe.
Yeah.
But hey, Dan, it's been about an hour. I know you said we had to keep it short. And
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
do that 'cause I gotta make that up. I am so sorry.
That's okay. We gotta tuck you in so you can get better.
Yeah. Because I gotta go to work tomorrow. I gotta go fill out my my talking points. The 5 things I did last week.
Oh boy.
Send it to Big Daddy Donnie. Here you go, Big Daddy. That's what I did last week. I can throw like 3 more on there if you want, but I'll keep it to the 5. Keep it official. But yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, I got politics I'm focusing on, and then you got quantum stuff. And
Quantum stuff now, yeah.
And I'm trying to find hardwood and freaking Avowed.
Oh
And
yeah.
I go to buy stuff for the lady. She's like,
That's funny about it's like that game that stays in your head. You be thinking like, I need to do this next.
dude, it's irritating though. I'll be going to the vendor. She'd be like $25 billion, right, for a piece of hardwood. I'm like, dude, man, are you serious, man? I barely got anything for killing that giant spider.
Yeah, they cheap in that world, man. It's hard to
cheap.
get
They're
money.
super cheap.
Yeah.
Man, I'd be like, bro, man, loosen up a little bit, man, or let me farm it. Let me find some place to go, But it's making you do the hard choices because you're gonna have to get rid of gear.
That's true.
That's the only thing you can do.
Yep.
Right? I have like about 20 million Grimoires
Oh gosh.
because I want to try and use them all, right? But I'm like, there's no way I can.
Ain't no
I'll only
way.
be able to level it up.
Yeah, you gotta get rid
Because
of
you can't go like this. You can't go back to the old place and then just level up over there or test out over there because everybody's gone, right? They keep on
Yep.
pushing forward. So
Yep. Yep, they do.
yeah. But anyway, so Dea, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. And thank you everybody in the chat. Dave, thanks for coming by. Mr. Kima, appreciate it, brother. Sega Man, dude, I thank you for stopping in, bro. Don't worry, we'll do another one. We'll do another one, brother. And then Tool Man was in. Hebot, what's up, brother? Most powerful gamer. Yeah, this was just a short one, brother. Because I gotta go make dinner. I got the food sitting out too. Hey, Vante, thanks for being here, brother. And Daniel Berry, appreciate it as well. Hope I didn't miss anybody. Oh, Pepe Le Pew, man. Yeah, the best.
Pew. Yeah, yeah.
They took our jobs. Yeah. But yeah, Dia, shout yourself out and then we'll call it a podcast.
All right, I'm Dia4568, First Lady of Chat. You can usually find me in Sega Forever's podcast. I don't always do them, but I try to when I can. I've been busy lately. Also, Unlimited Show. You'll often find me there as well. And Sega Man's when I can. I have been in Sega Man's show as well. So that's where you usually can find me.
All right. And this is Xbox All In Channel, host Sega Forever. We out.
All right. Bye.